Hi, I'm Greeshma Kuthar, and you're listening to episode 3 of Mission Manipur, a frontline podcast that looks in detail at the Manipur conflict. This episode is titled Water. By now, I think most of you know that Manipur is under President's rule. If you don't, do look up the most recent report I've put together for Frontline. In this report, I've tried to speak to as many people as I can in Manipur to get a sense of what they think this means. More importantly, though, I've tried to keep the focus on the contradictions of the demands of different communities. It is still very unclear how we will arrive at a political solution, but all the attention from authorities seems to be focused on disarming those who took up weapons in the past 22 months. So, weapons, political demands, will the BJP survive? Will there be a new CM? Will we have fresh elections? Conversations about all of this is happening over and over again. But for some reason, it seems like the humanitarian crisis in Manipur is nobody's business. It feels like the lives of the most vulnerable have lost importance in the grand scheme of pandering to political interests. How else is one to justify 30 crores being set aside to build camps for the Pambai faction of the UNLF while something as basic as clean drinking water isn't available to internally displaced persons at the relief camps in the valley? The faction of the UNLF surrendered at the peak of the violence in a strategic move orchestrated by none other than Biren Singh himself. You can read more about this in a detailed investigative story that I did for the Caravan. But coming back to water, does it shock you that across most relief camps in Manipur, there has been no supply of clean drinking water? The thing is, though, the availability of clean drinking water in India is subject to a lot of factors. Can you afford to buy water? Can you afford to filter water? Can you afford to boil water? Can you access water? In the case of displaced persons, though, the answer to most of these questions is a no. This is a number anywhere upwards of 55,000. Displaced people are those who ran out of their homes in Manipur without as much as a second set of clothes. Some of them managed to retrieve more belongings, some didn't. But most of them lost their homes, their jobs, and their livelihood. This is what makes them the most vulnerable, which means it is impossible for these people to provide for themselves or their families. Their predicament was the center of attention for the first few months into the violence, which doesn't really mean that they were getting the best of attention, but eventually they were forgotten. Putting together this episode has been an exercise of deep reflection for me. I say this because I have thought that in the 20 plus months of reportage that I've completed in Manipur, I've tried to cover as much ground as I can. I constantly keep trying to read about what happens in regions that are affected by this form of violence, to understand how people cope and how organizations provide support, how they negotiate with hostile governments for what is basic. Yet, in what can easily be hundreds of visits to these camps, I somehow always assume that clean drinking water is probably provided for. I did not actually make it a point to check until this month when I noticed a manual filtration device at a camp that I visited. There were a couple of such devices in this camp of more than 550. These devices, I was told, haven't been cleaned, or the filters of these devices haven't been changed since they were brought to the camps. The water within seemed dirty and discolored. The same water is used for bathing, cooking, cleaning, and all other purposes. After this, I visited at least 10 relief camps where I was told that they have never received separate water for drinking since the time they've been staying in these camps. But some of these camps had banners hung outside which said the district collector is responsible for providing clean drinking water to the displaced staying in those camps. This brings us to this question. How can one of the most basic essentials of existence have missed the attention of the authorities? I can point to not caring enough as an answer, which is like a regular answer that all of us give when an authority has to be questioned. But access to clean water is a fundamental right. Article 21 of the Indian Constitution is clear. Water is a basic need for survival, and access to it is a part of your right to life. We can't just diminish constitutional responsibility with social media language like, hey, they didn't care enough. Of all the conversations that I've had with displaced people in different camps, I picked out two that I would like to share with you all. Because what I'm saying here is just outrage, but you have to hear it from people who've been living without clean drinking water for close to 2 years now. Oinam Pushpa lives in a relief camp in Moirang, which has a total strength of 565. This relief camp is among the worst I've seen in the Imphal Valley. Just a handful of toilets for more than 500 people, which I am told are mostly clogged, no community kitchen, horrible infrastructure, three families living within a room that is less than 250 square feet. I can keep listing the problems one after the other, but what Pushpa seemed most enraged about was not having clean water to drink. So now if they have to get water, no, how does the water come here?
Tanker will bring water.
So tanker will bring water and it'll fill, they will collect it from there and fill it into the tanks, is it? And from here they put it into the water filters and they drink that water, or do they boil it independently?
They do not boil it. No boil it.
Don't boil it.
Everyone have the gas. They can boil it. No one boil it.
So you they like there are some different tanks kept, no, like that filter sort of a thing. You put the they put the water in that and they drink that water.
Yeah, some they drink, but some they don't.
They will buy separate bottle.
Yeah, we'll buy a separate drinking water for.
But if I have to ask you a question, do you think that clean drinking water is available in your camp?
Mainly, sometimes I don't think so because the water sometimes to kill germs like they put medicine. Sometimes the smell, we cannot drink the water because of the smell. And mainly for the small kids, I think it's not safety for it, safe for drinking for the small kids because they are too young. And then sometimes, because of the condition we are living here, they get easily infected, like fever, cold, cough, for every season like that. Then for even the adults, I think we for the not for us but for the elder ones, sometimes they are, for them it's difficult for them to drink directly, and for some of them, for us we have gas and all, for some of them they even cannot afford it. And so it's difficult for them to even afford because we do not have proper how to say, we do not have even proper workplace here. Then if we even work, they would say the payment, I mean for weekly payment, they do not even give the relief weekly payment properly. They used to delay. For that, I think
It's not affordable to buy
yeah,
water.
for some it's affordable, but for the elderly ones and for those who cannot work, it's not affordable.
Do you think like during these seasons where you get dengue and other waterborne diseases, do you feel like there have been many such cases in your camp?
Because of the condition we are living. Mainly these places before we are here, this is not usable places. There are lots of people even do not dare to enter here. We are here, before we are here, there are lots of dust, garbage in here, they are pile up like that. And when we came here, after we came here, those relief like us, we clean it up by ourselves. Then sometimes we do a social work that also not work like after 6 months like that, or sometimes a weekly. That's all.
Right. But since there are no proper toilets here and there is not enough sanitation, do you think that also kind of affects the
Sometimes
general
we are
cleanliness?
lot here. No, we are lot here, and sometimes it affects. And sometimes when it rains, the water fills all the toilet. Then the water flows where even our footpath. It's difficult for us to even walk.
So do you, when it rains here, like the time that you've been here, every time it rains, has it flooded here?
A lot, but sometimes not, but mainly a lot. It flooded.
So I mean, when you say flooding, does it enter? Does it come up to where we are standing?
Come up to this level or this level. Sometimes this side it mainly flooded, and here it flooded, but that side it's a little bit like hilly top. That's why it's not flooded, but here
This
it's
side it
flooded.
floods. So when it's flooding, like where do you all like use toilets? Like because I understand that there's some open defecation that happens. So when it's flooding, where do the children
We
like?
mainly use that side. There's one toilet.
Okay.
We mainly use that one. This side we cannot be able to use because it's all flooded, and it's sometimes it's very difficult to even walk.
Wow.
Not for even small kids, but even for adults to walk here.
So that one toilet has how many? Is it a toilet complex or is it just one toilet
It's one toilet.
for 530 people?
Yes. For the backsiders, there is a attached toilet to their buildings, but for this mainly for this area, there's that one toilet we use all together when it's flooded.
In the community hall, how many people are there? Are there more people there?
No. Here it's here
The
it's
majority
more.
are here.
Yeah, the majority are here.
The place where the tanks are kept are right next to where there is open defecation. Contamination of water is highly likely, like Pushpa explained. The situation in the hills is equally bad, if not worse. I've been visiting this camp in Lakop in Kangpopi district since the first month of the violence. This camp is similar to the Moirang camp, which is in the valley, but when it comes to cramped living quarters, both of them seem the same. Some of the teachers living in this camp went on to start a small school within the camp. Chong is one of them. I have visited the school a couple of times, but this time I met Chong at the Lakop camp to understand what they do for water. So this water, this from this,
Yes,
where is this pipe coming from?
there river from the river.
So from the river, whatever water is available, but the river is also dry now. Most of it is dry.
Yes, almost right.
Then how are you guys getting? You're saying you're getting
It's
water.
very hard.
Because when I was passing by, I saw there's hardly any water.
We dig there, no?
Like borewell.
Yeah,
But is there water in the enough water in the borewell?
no enough water, sis. You want to go there?
Where?
The river nearby. I'll take you.
We can go see. Come, let's go.
The whole day, no?
From the beginning itself, you were getting water from the river, is it? Or you were taking
No.
from.
From the beginning, we get from the town, from the mountain itself.
Okay.
It comes. But now,
Sorry.
since no longer scarcity of water, so we have a generator. See, the water is also not so pure for drinking.
Aren't people falling sick?
Yeah, because of water loss. Small children, small kids. Lots of problems.
What are you saying?
Fever, coughing. Yeah,
Because of the water?
because of the water and like current, no,
Uh,
not in time. So some people are using firewood, and sometimes we fail to get firewood from DC. So
you can't boil the water.
yeah, we can boil the water. So without unboiled water when drinking, people get sick.
Have many
That
children
is the
gotten sick
problem.
here?
And if they got sick, nobody.
There's no help.
Yeah,
There's no medical.
help. We talked to DC at the first time, but no response. No?
This was what? You all have been here for more than a year, no? 1 year, one and. You've been here from what? From May, no? May 2023.
2023.
But how is the school now?
See, the school is run by private.
I know, Tracy.
Tracy.
So you are getting like school in terms of like you are taking classes, teachers here are taking classes,
Yeah,
textbooks are coming.
Textbook, she herself gave
Provided
us.
now.
Yeah, not yet complete.
Okay.
Mm.
But school is going okay.
Actually, at the first time, admission was student strength was 60 to 70.
Right.
But because of how to say it is very late. No,
When you
until
started admission.
yeah, late admission. So children, parents send their children to other school. So now 30 to 40.
Okay. This is the river.
Yeah, this is the river.
There's hardly any water, dude.
See, this is the river, and that is the place that we dig.
That is the place that you?
Dig.
Oh, okay. For borewell. But Chong, this is very little water.
Little water, see.
And they're swimming.
Yeah. Upper side. Some people are walking again.
They're walking.
Yeah. We face lots of problems. There's scarcity of water. Yeah.
This is the borewell. But if there needs to be power. Okay. So from here it's pumped whenever there's electricity. But is there enough water in this?
No, not enough. Not sufficient, I mean.
But you're saying that this water and the river water is dirty, no? Huh? So unless you boil it, filter or something, they didn't give you a what?
No filter.
This water is really less. Yes. People are washing,
Swimming.
I mean, unless you boil this water, you can't drink it, dude. Yeah. But people are, that lady was saying that people are drinking it, right?
Yeah.
Without boiling.
Without boiling.
And tell me one thing.
Yes.
In your relief camp, there are not enough toilets, no?
Yeah, not enough toilet.
Then people will be coming here and also open defecation.
Yes.
So the water will be contaminated, right? What?
Oh, where are you going, my brother, elder brother?
He asked.
Where are you going? Yes.
So no, I was saying that people will be coming here also to wash or like bathroom and all of that. No, so it'll be mixed with the water, right? At least for drinking, they can give you separate water. No, they can supply cans or something. No? That's what I'm asking.
Exactly.
So what, y'all are taking that water boiling and drinking or drinking directly?
Boiling.
Boiling and drinking.
Some are boiled, some are not boiled.
Drinking directly.
Rainy season, it is good. We check from the upper side. You can use washing, drinking, everything now. It's very difficult for even drinking, for toilet. There is no toilet water sometimes. Now there is no water.
What we need to understand about most of the displaced people is that all of them are staying in areas that are unfamiliar with very limited prospects of work, which means they barely make money. To buy a can of water by yourself would cost anywhere between rupees 50 to rupees 80, and you'll have to do this every alternate day, which is still impossible for them. The response from authorities to whom I've asked about this seems to end at, we are providing them access to water. But like the two women have explained already, that water is not fit for consumption. But in most of the relief camps that I asked, people are unsure if a demand for clean drinking water is a demand that can be made. Some of them said it will not be considered important. I don't know what to make of it, but that this remains unaddressed by all authorities is true. The lack of clean drinking water for displaced people is just one of the many aspects that make up the humanitarian crisis in Manipur, which still isn't getting enough attention. More on it in my next episode.